Welcome to Successful Living with Bill Knapik. Every week we talk about success and everything that goes along with it. You'll learn the principles of success, how to achieve success, and learn to overcome challenges that may be getting in the way of success in your life. You'll hear from Bill Knapik, a radio personality and business development expert, along with insight from special guests. If you're ready to find your path to success or take the success you're enjoying to the next level, stay tuned. Successful Living with Bill Knapik is on right now.
And welcome to the show, Successful Living with Bill Knapik. That's me, and today a very special guest. His name is Jeff Anderson. He is a very, very gifted singer, songwriter, performer. He sings solo, he writes songs, and he works with a group called Veritas. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bill, thanks for having me. It's a joy and an honor to be a part of your show today. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. And also here in Houston, Texas, people have been blessed to see you perform at Second Baptist here in Houston on a regular basis at several of our campuses, but certainly the group Veritas, you are all over the United States. But let's tell people about your work and from your perspective.
Sure, yeah. Well, first of all, we love Houston. It's a favorite stop for us, for sure. We get an opportunity to be in the Houston and the greater Texas area quite a bit throughout the year. Matter of fact, Veritas, the group that I'm part of, we're on the road about 200 days a year. And so we have a chance during that time to be in Houston quite a bit, and so we always love being there. Yeah, well, I've been with Veritas for 4.5 years, and Veritas is a Latin word that means truth, and fundraising events and working with different foundations and so on and so forth. So it's just been really great to be a part of something that is bigger than yourself, to have an impact on such a variety of different ways through the avenue of music. And as a musician and as an artist and as a person who wants to be actively involved in changing people's lives and encouraging and helping people to reach their maximum potential, whatever that may be, it's really a joy for me to be able to do that through the thing that I love the most, which is the area of music.
And speaking of your group, not only as you talk about each performer, including yourself, each one of you are just so gifted as far as singing, but also when all that comes together, when the voices, Jeff, when the voices come together and even visually, it's just so exciting for our congregation and anywhere that you sing as a group. There's no question about it. But let's tell people the website. Is it veritas.com in case they want to check it out?
It's actually Veritas 5, spelled out. There's 5 of us, and it's just veritas5.com. We're on all forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And so people can follow us there. It's a great way to just stay up with what's going on, our calendar, our schedule, where we are. We always like to do videos to kind of give people a backstage look into our lives and into the life of Veritas. And so it's just a great way for people to stay connected. And also, you can find our product, our CDs, in Christian bookstores, as well as Barnes & Noble and places like that.
Go to the website, veritas5.com. Now, Jeff, as a solo performer, first of all, I mean, you were recently at Second Baptist, and always we love to hear you sing.
Thank you.
But first tell us, when did you first realize that, one, that you love to sing and that it really it's such a special gift you have, the way you sing? When did you realize that?
Well, I guess probably high school is when I realized that this might potentially be something I could do for a living. I didn't really know to what extent. I grew up in a very musical family. My mom is a vocal coach as well as a piano teacher. My dad was a wonderful singer. And so I sang from the time I can remember, probably 4 or 5 years old, with my family, and just kind of grew naturally through that. But when I started getting more serious about it in high school, I had incredible mentors in my life and vocal coaching and people that recognized the talent probably more than I did and said, hey, we need to help you develop this. And right out of high school, I ended up traveling with a group that was based in California, but had moved to the East Coast. And so I had moved as an 18-year-old from the West Coast in Seattle, where I'm from, to Orlando, Florida area. And it was a big jump, and I had to grow up pretty quick. I had to learn some things, and I had to learn to just take charge of the talent that God had given me. And if I really wanted to be successful, I needed to work harder than the person next to me, and I needed to develop what natural gifting I had, but I also had to work on the things that I was really weak at, you know, and that was probably more the platform, dealing with people, writing. Writing music doesn't necessarily come natural to me. It's something I have to work at hard. I just felt like I wanted to do something with this talent. I didn't want to waste it, because God takes all of our attributes, whether they're a strength or a weakness, and he uses them for his glory. And I just kind of, through a period of time, trying to develop all of those areas and try to use it to my best ability.
That's right. And also, when we think about success, when someone has a gift like yours where you sing so well, and you mentioned the word coaching, and that is a trademark of anybody in that's successful in any profession, is that you may be good or really, really good at something, but you still seek to be better. You still reach out for coaching. And with singing, you bring up the technical things like voice coaching and the way you breathe. And, of course, the beauty is it does all come together in a powerful way.
Absolutely. And you're never too good to learn, and you're never too good to get better. And so I try to surround myself with great musicians and great artists, great writers, you know, producers, and I'm constantly wanting to learn and get better, you know. And it's nice now. I'm at an age, I'm 42 years old, where I'm getting an opportunity to invest back into some younger folks and people who are coming up, and so it's really nice to be able to take some of the things that I've learned and pour into their life. But at the same time, I'm realizing, man, I still don't know a lot. I want to learn more, and I want to become better, and so I just never want to get to a place where I just know it all. Whether it's music or whatever your career is, you just always have to have a drive to be better. That's just been my goal, and I want to do this to the best of my ability until I can't do it anymore.
And also, as we think about songwriting, when you write, do you also play an instrument, Jeff?
You know, I'm not an instrumentalist. I play at the guitar is what I tell people.
Okay.
My main instrument is definitely my voice. I enjoy, you know, that's even something up until 5-6 years ago, I never even played an instrument. So it was one of those things where I said, you know what, I need to learn an instrument. So I picked up a guitar and started teaching myself, and then I met with some better players, and they're teaching me too. And so I'm becoming better at that, but it's not a strength. I would consider it it's a developmental thing. But I'm just continuing to just do whatever I can to enhance, you know, the abilities that God has given me, so that I never stay stagnant.
We have a clip of a song called "You Don't Waste a Thing." Now, this is a song that you're singing on and that you have written. So let's hear a little bit of that, and then you could tell us about that and how it came about and what you were thinking.
You take the ruins of my life and build a castle that will stand forever. You take the pieces of my heart when I'm shattered. You hold me together. You'll always love me in all my mistakes. And you'll never let me stay the same. My brokenness is beautiful in your loving hands. I may be scarred and torn apart, but you've made me who I am. 'Cause you don't waste a thing. Whoa. 'Cause you don't waste a thing.
Wow, Jeff, that is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, let's tell people, okay, the song, "You Don't Waste a Thing," it's called.
It's not up on
Not
iTunes yet. It will be. It's going to be our first single that we release here. I don't have a time frame because we're still working on a few other songs. Yeah, I'm really excited about it, and really, this is the first radio station to play a clip of that song. So
there you are, a show exclusive.
I'm very honored that you would do that.
It's my pleasure. Also, well, let's tell people, what were you thinking? And also for those that wonder, like I do, I'm a musician myself, as you know. But what's involved? What kind of time does it take to write a song like that, put it together? And what was your inspiration for that song?
Well, the inspiration for the song was my story is kind of it's kind of broad, but every person goes through ups and downs in their life, and we have days that and seasons of our life, I would say, that make great impact on us, and sometimes for the good and sometimes for in a negative way. And so I was in a place in my life where a season in my life where I really struggled with depression. I struggled with anxiety and trying to just figure out what God was doing through this extremely negative season. I had lost my voice in 2007. For 8 months, I was not allowed to sing or speak or anything. And I had to have reconstructive surgery. And I also lost my father during that time, who was really my best friend, my inspiration, and also, just a great man of God. And so it caused me to question a lot of things in my life. And I was realizing for the first time that maybe I was putting too much emphasis on my talent and my relationships instead of Christ. When those things fell apart and I couldn't do it anymore and they were gone from my life, I was so depressed. I had a hard time functioning. And I had to really reach the bottom to experience God's best for me and realize that God can take your broken pieces and he can turn it into a castle that'll stand forever through the stages of time. And so I wanted people to hear the song, whether you're in a same situation as me or maybe you're in a different situation, whether it's financial, physical, emotional, disparity. I wanted them to be encouraged that God doesn't waste any part of our life, and he can use it. He can give you a hope and a future. And so I wrote this song from a place of my own life that I needed healing, and he took those broken pieces and made it better. I was inspired by this Japanese art that I had come across where it takes broken pottery and pots and they fill in the cracks with gold and silver. And I thought about how Christ does that with our own life. He takes the brokenness of our hearts and the brokenness of our life and our situation, and he fills it and makes us more valuable than we were when we first started. And so that's what this song was inspired about. Just wanted it to be, I didn't want it to be a somber meaning or a process. I wanted it to be up-tempo, encouraging, kind of, drive home the point that God doesn't waste a thing in our life. He makes it for the better. And so that was kind of the inspiration behind it. And I got together with my producer, Sean Hill, and a couple of co-writers, Seth Condry and Shelley Johnson. And we just formed this song. And, it's taken us a while to get it done, but that's part of music. Everything, there's stages in developing. So you write the song, you do a scratch, and then you just add instruments and sounds and create it, and then you mix it, master it, and get it ready for people to hear. So it's a process that takes, 6 to 8 months sometimes.
Wow.
Just for one song.
And it is uplifting, and the story behind it, when people hear the words, and if they hear this interview, they'll hear the story. It really is incredible. Now, I'm going to try to recreate this. It is radio, but I want to give people a sense, if they have not heard you sing, the power in which you sing and the ability to move an audience like you do and have done at Second Baptist and everywhere else you go so many times. Now, I'll tell people this is a kind of a rough recording. This was recorded. I play the Hammond B3 organ, so the organ is like really loud. This is from my perspective, so there's a lot of organ in the monitor. But yet, what I want them to hear is your voice and they will hear that. But what happens when your talents come together and you connect with an audience? You use a pause here, and people, I think, will be able to hear just in these 40 seconds the power in the way that the audience reacted. And this was a song recorded around Christmas. The song is "Mary Did You Know?" And let's hear this now. Do you actually remember that moment? I mean, I was going crazy playing along with you, but I was also, the way people reacted was so exciting. Do you remember that?
I do. It's a combination of two things. You know, you get inspired and you're living in the moment. You're creating a moment for people to engage in. You know, and obviously we're talking about the incredible gift of Jesus, and we're celebrating not only Jesus, but his sacrifice for the reason why he came to this earth was to not to live, but to die, to take our place. And so I get emotional when I think about it. That song is so powerful, Mary Did You Know? And it was Christmas Eve, or the Christmas Day, actually, I believe. And so I was just kind of, you know, really in the moment. But so you got that natural, you know, that natural performance anxiety, as well as your blood is pumping. You know, you're excited about the opportunity to use your gifting. But at the same time, I was also thinking as a musician, trying to create intimacy and an opportunity for people to engage their feelings, you know. And so that's why after singing that particular measure of music, I left the pause for people to hopefully emote some sort of emotion. And I didn't know if they would stay silent. I had no idea the reaction would happen. But for me, it was almost like that contemplative time. I wanted to rest a little bit to kind of just focus on what was just sung. So that's what I did, and then obviously the audience responded the way they did, and so I was obviously very honored and humbled by that.
It was magnificent, and the power of your voice, the connecting with the audience, but also the power of the pause, it's just really, really incredible. So
thank you.
Let's give us an idea. Here we are. The year has gone by so quickly. What lies ahead for you and for Veritas?
Well, that's a great question. A lot of exciting things happening. You know, this past year and a half has been an absolute whirlwind for not only my family, but for the life of Veritas. We did a 94-city tour nationwide with the incredible and amazing Sandy Patty last year and a half. Wow. And so that took up a lot of our time. But during that time, the five of us were creating and praying through a new CD, a new project. And so we have been actively involved in the studio the last few months, putting together a new record, and it's getting close, but it'll probably release sometime here in the summer, with a fall tour coming in September, October, and parts of November, and then again in the spring of 2018. Matter of fact, I know for a fact the fall tour kicks off in Houston at Second Baptist September 9th and 10th. That's going to be really exciting to be able to premiere some new music, some original music, some classical music that has stood the test of time. And we're going to be able to share that through the style that we sing, which is, we call it a modern classical style. As Sandy Patty, she likes to describe it as 5 Josh Groban, which is kind of neat. Like, again, you can always go to our website and check out our calendar dates for that. And also be looking for that new release coming out here in August. As far as myself, you know, I'm still writing and creating, producing songs. I have 2 new songs that will be finished here in the next month or two. I'm probably going to release like a 3-song EP just to get started, and hopefully, the vision is to have a full record done this year, and we're just going to release it in stages, and by the time it's done, it'll be 10 songs of original music that is just coming from my heart. For years, I've sung songs like Mary Did You Know and cover songs, which I always love doing because I'm not one to say that my songs would be better than someone else's, obviously. If somebody writes a great song, I want to share it,
That's right.
I don't care who wrote it. So I've done that, but I kind of wanted to share my heart, and use music as a vehicle. I feel like I've gone through quite a bit of life, and, I don't have the answers for a lot of things, but I feel like I've experienced a lot that I can use my life story through the avenue of music to minister and to just encourage people who may be going through difficult times, and also just encourage those who are on the mountaintop right now in this season of life to just keep moving forward and never settle.
And Jeff, let's tell people here we're out of time now, but if they want to reach out to you, how should they do so?
Well, you can always find me on Twitter at J_Anderson ATL. That's my Twitter account. And then obviously at Veritas, you can always reach me there. Our website has all of our information there and contact information. You can get it. And that's really the best way to reach out to me.
Very nice. And that website, again, is veritas5.com.
You take the ruins of my life and build a castle that will stand